Or all right, so I'm here with Jessie G. She's a Northwest Florida native, or not native. She's Northwest. She lives in Northwest Florida now. You're based in Northwest Florida, correct?
Yep, I'm living in Destin, Florida.
Perfect. I was reading some about you because I was doing a little research and I saw you're from Oregon. So
Yeah.
you're you do some like a lot of stuff in Nashville too, it looked like.
Yeah, we kind of split our time between Destin, Florida and Nashville, Tennessee. We call Destin our home. We just had a child 3 years ago, so we like to be down here for raising our child. And now we have a baby on the way too now. So yeah, so both my babies will be born here at Sacred Heart in Miramar Beach, Florida. And yeah, we just love it here. We first came here because my husband was stationed. He was at 7th Group Special Forces, right, the Army base right above Eglin Air Force Base. So we came here in 2020 and we fell so in love with it. It's a lot like where I grew up in Oregon. It's a fishing town. And so I that's near and dear to my heart because I'm from 4 generations of commercial fishermen. And that's what I did my whole life was fish. So it's so great being back, somewhere where I can still do something that I feel like is just in my blood.
That's awesome. It's so nice when you can find somewhere that it's not home, but it feels a lot like home.
Most definitely. I actually was upset at first when he got stationed here because we tried to get stationed at 5th Group outside of Nashville and we wouldn't have had to move down. And I remember being like kind of upset, like, oh, this is going to affect my career because I'm in country music and all this. And then he's like, why don't you just give it a chance? And then we started driving down here and we went over the Destin Bridge and it overcame me with emotion. I started crying. I was like, this reminds me of home. And then, actually, believe it or not, it was almost meant to be, but the local radio station knew I was coming to town and they started playing my song, Army Ranger, the one I had written at that moment, at that time. They started playing it as soon as we were like crossing the bridge. So it felt so meant to be that we were supposed to be here. We were supposed to live here, raise a family here.
That's awesome. And so I know your husband was in the military. I saw an interview that you did where you said he's not in the military anymore. He was in the military. So I've listened to a lot of your songs over the past couple of days. And a lot of them are about, the army, the military, stuff like that, especially your song Dress Blues. Tell me how you come up with these ideas for this music about, military and what it's like for families of military individuals.
Yeah, I mean, with songwriting, it just comes straight from the heart. It comes from God. It comes from a muse that is unexplainable. And actually, Dress Blues, believe it or not, it kind of wrote itself in the either in the back of my head or, some moment where God just made me the vessel. I'm not sure, but I woke up in the middle of the night on that song and it was like fully written in my head. Crazy. Like the melody was there, most of the lyric was there and I actually got out of bed. I think it was like 1 in the morning. I got out of bed. I ran to my writing studio and I sat down. I was like, I need to finish this or I'm going to lose this, idea forever. And that song came out within like 30, 45 minutes. It just wrote itself. It was pretty amazing to experience that. But, it's not always like that. Sometimes songwriting is much different. Like people listening that are creatives, sometimes it's you put in the work, you show up, you you make yourself get in the space to write. You go through your list of ideas and then something sparks creativity or inspiration and you kind of just go with it. But it's always a different process. And I love that about it because, at any moment I could have an idea from something you say to me. I could be like, oh my gosh, that's a song. And so I love just being open-minded to that.
That's awesome. So I had another question. So I'm really into country music. Everybody here kind of like jokes around me because I know I'm like the country music like queen over here. Um, and I was listening to some of your music, and a lot of it is like very high energy. Um, the one with Gretchen Wilson, I know that's super high energy. And Dress Blues seems more like a calm, slow, um, you know, peaceful type of song. So what is it like the difference in, having those songs, singing those songs? Tell me a little bit about what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like it, my style is so all over the place. My influences range from rock and roll to blues and jazz to country to some pop artists. Like there is really there's so good music is good music, you know. And so when I write a song, really try, and I know that sometimes business-minded people are like, well, there's this box, you got to be in that box, like you got to stay on brand, all this stuff. Yeah, to an extent, I agree with them somewhat for the business aspect, but like as an artist, you can't be in the box. It just doesn't work. So, writing Dress Blues, that song is way more leaning toward, the country elements, the slow, um, almost like waltzy feeling. It like always reminded me of Dixie Chicks Traveling Soldier when I wrote that. And also the message too was just very in the same vein. And like my whiskey, it was more rockin', it still had all the country elements, but that song's about partying and going out with the girls and like slinging them back and not caring about it, just living in the moment. So I think we all, as people, have all those sides to us. We're not just one-dimensional creatures, there's so much depth to us. So as an artist, it's really hard for me sometimes because I'm like, I want to do this heavy metal vibe kind of song this time and all that. And just to find a way to sonically make all my music sounds like it's coming from the same chick, it's actually kind of a challenge. But you know what? That's fun. It's part of the fun.
I love that. I love artists that can be so different, one
Totally.
one artist some of my coworkers enjoy, and my boyfriend actually became a Swiftie. And so I started listening to Taylor Swift, and now of course I'm a Swiftie, but I feel like she's a prime example of she has so many different styles. And it's just I love that there's a song for everything, There's a song for when I'm happy, there's a song for when I'm gonna like getting ready to go out doing my makeup to go out with my girlfriends. There's a song for when I'm sad. So um
Totally.
I love artists that can be different, and I think it's super unique. So I think it's really cool that you're able to do that.
Oh, thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, I know a lot of our viewers are going to be a lot not mainly interested, but they love when celebrities talk about their favorite places in the area. So
Yeah.
could you just like give me like a couple, like maybe your favorite restaurant where you like to frequent, stuff like that,
Yeah,
that viewers,
definitely.
they'll resonate with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not hard down here. It's absolutely beautiful. And everywhere you go, the Emerald Coast is it's mesmerizing. But, I have some local spots. Before I was very pregnant, I loved to frequent Harbor Tavern for a drink and, getting to know the owners. I'm really good friends with the owners now, and that's pretty special. I love to take uh, tiki Cruising Tiki's boat out. My friends also own that now because we've been here long enough that we were able to meet them. And it's just so cool being able to see their businesses, how they operate, and like getting to go down there and know the people that you're supporting local. I'm all about supporting local. Like back where I'm from, the fishermen, when they bring in their catch, and you go down to the boats and you buy the crab or tuna or salmon straight from their boats, they're able to make that money with no middleman in between and provide for their families a little better. So that has always been instilled in me. So supporting local here in Destin, Florida is a huge deal for me. So love doing that. We love going down to the beach, obviously. My child is a beach babe. She loves being in the sand. She doesn't care how cold the water is. It snowed down here like 6 inches or whatever. And she was out there building snowmen with her feet in the water. She is crazy. But, and I'm from Oregon, so it doesn't surprise me at all. But, you know, our favorite spots around here, we also love like that 30A area. It's a little bit of a drive for us, but it's so worth it. Absolutely gorgeous. And just bar hopping, restaurant hopping. Man, we love it all.
That's that's really cool. I love that. I love the message of support locals, so that's awesome. Um, One other question I wanted to ask. So I know you sang, excuse me, um, at the NFL game,
Yep.
the Packers versus Dolphins. You did the national anthem.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So being like a military spouse, like was how like was that a special moment for you being able to sing that song, in front of thousands of people? Again, with the background from you and your husband.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because somebody asked me I, after I sang it, they were like, "Were you nervous?" And of course, I mean, I was nervous, but honestly, a sense of pride was the strongest emotion that I had. I was so excited to get out there and just be a patriot and sing that song as somebody that loves this nation, as somebody that has been through, watching her husband defend this nation and going through the mental, like knowing that we sacrificed that for so many years, almost a decade. So I was just so excited to showcase that moment of just being proud to be an American. The climate too within the country seemed like it was turning, so it felt like that feeling was just amplified for me. I the jacket, if you haven't seen the picture of what I wore, that jacket that I wore, it was like a leather American flag jacket. It also like kind of added to the feeling of just being proud. And later on, I found out that Greenwood had the same exact like brand and style jacket that he wears when he, sings his main major events. But yeah, he's saying God bless the USA for all those youngsters listening that don't know who Lee Greenwood is. But yeah, I was definitely nervous to sing. I mean, I think they clocked in at 36 million people watched that. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I was just proud to be there. And it was such a bucket list moment in my life.
That's awesome. I love that. And I actually watched the the national anthem that you sang, and like I feel like a lot of artists, when they go out and they're singing like at a concert or something, you can tell like how auto-tuned their music is. But like with you, it was just like you've got pipes. Like I was like blown away. I was like, this doesn't
So
even sound like it was auto-tuned at all. Like this is amazing.
actually, it's funny you say that because the halftime performer was a violinist, Lindsay Sterling. She's like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
world renowned violinist. And she was like, "Girl, you didn't play to a track or sing to a track or anything." And I was like, "No, I don't think I feel like people don't want to see that." And she's like,
Yeah,
"It's too cold." She's like, "My instrument wouldn't stay in tune." She's like, "I had to play to a track." So it's just really funny, like, which made me even more proud. Like, so what if something was like a little off tune here and there? Like, that was real and that was in the
right.
moment. And I'm proud of that.
I love that so much. Okay, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about before we sign off? Did I miss anything?
I mean, I just maybe want to tell the viewers and listeners the climate in which we are in as artists and musicians, that also that celebrity lane. It's so hard right now because everything is so oversaturated with all the noise of everything. There's a blessing to social media, but then there's also, the other side of it where it does make it harder. Nowadays, if you don't have your life on display, showing every single little bit and all that, it's really hard to keep up with this game. So, if you feel passionate about an artist, if you want to support an artist, please go follow them on all the social media platforms, show up to their shows in person, get to know them. Believe it or not, like if you show up in person to like 3 of my shows, I'm probably gonna start to get to know your face and get to know your name. Stream their music because streaming numbers are the only thing that matters to the industry anymore. I just want to like let viewers know that that stuff just means so much to us and it keeps us able to provide for our families and keep doing this for a living. So, and thank you for having me. It takes, news channels like you guys doing this with me, and I'm very grateful.
Of course, this was awesome. This was, one of my favorite interviews. So, um, thank you again so much for talking with me today. I know you probably have a super busy schedule. So thank you for fitting me into that. And
Of course.
congratulations on your baby. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
When are
The
you
show pretty
due?
big in May. This shirt's like really
Oh,
flattering. You can't really tell, but I'm really showing.
oh, that's so exciting. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna stop recording now.
Yeah, and we should take a picture too before we sign off here. A screenshot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.